as we say, seamanship being such a key factor here, they're just going to nurse it in this pre-start and not attack each other too hard, would be my pick.
Well, look, you know, we could see some big action. You know, we talk about capsizing, we talk about broaches. All that comes into play in this condition.
This is the first time we have seen these boats in these conditions in a race situation, and that is what it's all about. Everyone has been waiting to see this, and two teams engaging in these conditions. Ineos now on the follow.
Yeah, 1:25 to go. Prediction, they'll break 50 knots today.
As long as they don't break themselves, I think we'll be happy to see it.
That could happen as well.
Coming up to a minute to the start.
Luna Rossa Prada jiving first, they're leading back. Ineos Team UK, happy to go past them, trying to probably setting up for that windward start.
Both boats early still, 50 to go.
15 seconds to kill, coming off the Ineos Team UK boat. Luna Rossa Prada slowing it down now, trying to kill time, sitting the boat down in the water.
No real risk of engaging each other in any pre-start manoeuvres here. It's all about who gets the side they want. A boundary penalty. Boundary penalty on Ineos Team UK. Big mistake in the pre-start.
Yeah, big mistake, and that has just given the start win to Luna Rossa Prada. So Ineos Team UK with a penalty is to get 2 boat lengths behind. That's 50 metres behind after the start.
Yeah, in this condition, 2 boat lengths, I think there's other factors that come in, and the ability to get around the track clean. So that's an error by Ainsley.
3 seconds away now from crossing the line. It will be Luna Rossa who will cross the line first. Ben Ainsley starts to windward, but he has to drop back behind to clear this penalty. That's going to be interesting on this drag to the first boundary.
Penalty's clear. Now it's about the first boundary, first tag. Right now it is obviously Luna Rossa, and they're affecting the flow there on that trailing boat. It's amazing how efficient these boats are, and thin on your hips like that on a normal yacht, there's no way you stay there. But these things, the wind flow turbulence is coming off their leading boat about 10 degrees off that transom, and you can see Ineos now being affected.
30 seconds away from that left-hand side. Does Ineos Team UK make the move first, or do they follow Luna Rossa?
Yeah, I think they're just going to follow here. They'll either tack first, or they'll just go up and sit up on his hip. So they'll let him tack first. They'll go just past him and tack, but the risk there is going over the boundary. He tacks first. They're out. Luna Rossa Prada following. This is a speed test now. We've probably got a minute 30 to the next boundary.
Yeah, it's
Who's got the fastest package?
The difference is now Ineos are in clear air. You can see parallel. They're heading all the way across to the right-hand boundary. This is a drag race, drag test. And in this condition, I mean, popular belief was probably Ineos, this is their strength. For Luna Rossa, probably set up in the more down range. So let's just watch, let's enjoy.
The lead currently is with Luna Rossa, 74 metres, as we can see on our screen. That is the lead you can see at the bottom of your screen. True wind speeds there, give you an idea how fast both of these boats are travelling. A little bit higher for Ineos Team UK, and we've seen that mode for them throughout racing so far in this regatta.
Yeah, they're going well here, Luna Rossa Prada. That lead just slowly creeping out, going from 70 metres to 100 metres now.
In the first race that these guys raced, I thought Luna Rossa, other than the 2 touchdowns on the downwind, actually was a little bit faster than Ineos Team UK. And right now, nice start, and they're going to be ahead at the first cross.
Ineos have gone through the attack. Heading back now to the left-hand side of this course. We're on course A today. This is leg 1 of 6. Luna Rossa are going to go all the way to the boundary before tacking here. The lead continues to grow for Jimmy Spittle and the Italian team.
A lot of this racing now is about who's spent the most time in heavy airs training. It's not very pleasant going out, sailing around in big waves and windy conditions like this, and then for these teams, time is so limited as it is, they don't spend a lot of time in these sort of conditions, so that is going to play a huge factor as well.
I think the boats look good in these conditions. I expect them to be a little more knocked around by the sea state, but both of them look like they're on rails.
Rock solid.
One in right, so they're already talking top mark approach. That's how quickly they get up there, and that's a pinch point of the race. You do the start, then you do the first cross, and immediately you're into top mark approach. What gate? Down the track, I would be very protective of the looking down the course of the right-hand side because of the predicted wind shift.
Stand by. 3, okay, set up, 1, 4 down, 2, 1, 4 down.
Interesting situation here. Luna Rossa Prada actually attacking first. They're sort of set up behind, so for me, Ineos Team UK going a long way past the ley line there and just sailing extra distance. That lead though, down to 60 metres.
Really interesting to see the tactics here from Sir Ben Ainsley. He did go a long way past that ley line before throwing that last tack in. Now it's a case of the manoeuvre around the mark. Let's listen in.
No, we think we're better off. No rush, no rush. It's a little soft to me for the barrel weight. 3, 2, 1, heading away. Heading. On the way. I will, huh? I will. Okay, steering away in 3, 2, 1, clear. Okay, coming down. Okay, powering up there, voice lighter.
Previous races, I've actually liked the speed of Ineos downwind. I think that has been their strength. Pleasing aspect for if you're a Luna Rossa fan is how good they were on that upwind leg in this pressure condition.
Both boats driving simultaneously here.
Get it going, guys, get it going.
Just losing a bit of boat speed. Ineos Team UK, they've got to get it up.
Yeah, touchdown on Ineos.
Yeah. You can hear Sir Ben Ainsley there saying, get it up guys, get it up, get it ripping. So he's talking about the angle. He wants the helmsman, Giles Scott, at the time out of the manoeuvre, to turn up, get more power into the boat and build speed again. But that was a bad jive, and that has turned a 70-metre lead into a 200-metre lead for Luna Rossa Prada.
Luna Rossa holding the advantage at the moment on leg 2 of 6 here. This is the first downwind leg heading back towards the east coast bays of Auckland, the north shore of Auckland. You can see in the background a choppy sea state, challenging conditions, wind in the mid-range today, stormy conditions, a westerly front blowing through Auckland this afternoon.
Yeah, the reality though, Scotty, at the moment they're showing 15 knots. I think more the factor is the wind against the tide. The tide is coming out, so tide coming from right to left, and obviously the breeze coming the other way.
Nothing behind us, right?
But that jive, it was a shocker, and they lost plenty in that bad jive by Ben Ainsley and Ineos UK. Let's see if they can pull the next one off.
Well, they've already sailed longer on that last beat upwind. So they've given away some advantage to Luna Rossa. Phil, we're in a classic match racing situation now. What is Ineos' responsibility as the trailing boat here?
You know, on a day like today, I'd say the first downwind, you're just looking to get your boat down the track. You're focusing on yourself. You're not worrying too much about your competitor, and you're just hoping they make a mistake as well. But right now, they're sort of matching jives. They're jiving just a little bit before them, so trying to get any little advantage they can.
Looking okay on lane.
Well, the key for a trailing boat is keep it tight. You know, don't spin the dummy. Hang in there. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And the pinch points are obviously the manoeuvres and the mark roundings. And it's that attention to detail. So Ben Ainsley and Giles Scott, they'll be all about gaining the hard meters.
Pressure and right a little bit. Come down, Trim.
Following the pressure, Francisco Bruni aboard Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Ineos trailing by around 170 metres here. Boat speeds very similar.
A little further, sorry.
Rounding this bottom mark is going to be crucial to the fortunes of this race, one feels.
Yeah, you got time to cross after.
This last patch has been quite nice for Ineos Team UK as the trailing boat.
Luna Rossa, I don't think they can lay the mark here. It's going to be Ineos Team UK who have to go first. They were hitting that boundary beforehand.
Slightly better jibe for Luna Rossa there in terms of attention to detail in that jibe.
That's the bottom mark. They're not far away now.
Straight in for Jimmy Spittle and Luna Rossa Crata. They're going right turn at the bottom. That's on the left-hand side of your screen. Right turn if you're looking at it on board the boat. And Ineos Team UK forced into another jibe, and that just goes right back up the track. So every jibe they did it before Luna Rossa Prada, trying to gain a little advantage by getting into the breeze first, but they didn't. They sailed extra distance, and now the penalty is an extra jibe.
Look out, Team Prada's bow hit the water there as they round that bottom mark. That's going to take some valuable time off. Now the jibe from Ineos Team UK.
The turn up here, this is that change of angle and the apparent wind comes crashing forward. See the delayed hoist of the windward foil? That's just to try and keep the boat on its feet at the bottom mark, and also to stop the boat leaning over. If the boats feel over a little bit, they just start skidding sideways when they do that rotation of turn around the bottom mark gate.
Yeah, some amazing things I was seeing there was the foils ventilating as they went round those marks. So you can see there the foil is just piercing the surface of the water and that's creating air pockets around that foil, and it's dropping out of the sky. There was a big one right behind the boat, and again, and that is just making it so difficult to sail.
And it was the same for Ineos Team UK as they came around that mark.
Yeah, watch the back of their foil right here. See the big green water behind it? That's the air that is sort of sucking down on that foil and leaving a big air pocket in the water.
And she jumped off a wave, and then the foil loses grip, and then the elevator on the rudder also loses grip, and luckily they came back. But the net gain, because of that extra jibe that you talked about, Phil, that extra jibe, you can see what that has manifested in, and Luna Rossa have made a gain.
It's a 100-metre gain at that too. 370 metres now the lead for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. This on leg 3 of 6. Upwind here on course A. Sailing out in the Hauraki Gulf today on the course off the east coast bays of Auckland. And it's been Jimmy Spittle in control. Remembering, Ineos Team UK conceded a penalty in the pre-start, had a boundary penalty against them. They had to drop back, and that lead that Luna Rossa had at the start has been maintained and extended.
You're right, Scotty. It's extending all the time, and again, the importance of the pre-start is becoming more and more relevant now. These teams aren't so far apart in terms of speed, manoeuvrability or skill, so you've got to be winning those starts, and a boundary penalty in the pre-start is an unforced error that you just can't afford anymore.
Ineos Team UK coming up to tack here on the left-hand boundary. See Prada on the left-hand side of your screen. They are well advanced.
Yeah, performance-wise, I think Prada have got an edge over Ineos, especially upwind. Downwind, I'd have them even. And with the leading boat being able to dictate, Spittle and Bruni were able to force Ben Ainsley to overlay the top mark and to do an extra jibe in the bottom mark, and that is all metres lost.
I wonder too whether the dual helmsman role in conditions like this is playing into Luna Rossa's favour, given the fact that it is sloppy out there, the sea state is up.
I think it's more time on the water. In terms of hours on the water leading into the Prada Cup, Luna Rossa have done a lot more time in the Hauraki Gulf than Ineos. Of course, after the Christmas Cup, the Brits essentially had to put the boat in the shed and rebuild it. And the downside of that is lack of time on the water, and I think it's showing in this condition.
3, 2, 1.
Amazing shots of that tack from out on the water from the helicopter here. Very smooth sailing, Phil, from Luna Rossa.
Yeah, it is. They're a slick outfit, and yeah, proving that point right here in this race.
They're making the hard look easy. And that comes from practice, and that comes from attention to detail, and that combination of dual Helmsley, you pointed that out, I think is showing it for them at the moment. Also, they're a clip quicker.
Look too at the way that hull is kissing the water here. It just looks so aerodynamically strong, hydrodynamically strong in these conditions. 530 metres now the lead and growing for Luna Rossa.
Not really one side, it's just spots here and there and big pressure.